Okay, this episode is about camping on Ltva campgrounds, which is long-term visitor areas that are run by the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, in Arizona and California. There's 7 of them. There's 6 in California and 1 in Arizona, called Ltva, at Quartzsite, Arizona, and the other 6 are in California. Now, there's a lot of very specific rules in the LTVAs, which basically means you can camp up to 7 months, September 16th to April 16th of the following year, in one campsite. And a lot of people have gone into some of the LTVAs. I'm going to go into some finer details, which almost nobody's really talking about. There are rules, and each of the LTVAs is a little different as far as their do's and don'ts. And I'm at Ltva right now. It's a desert area, and I've learned over the years to keep your solar panels. You got the portable ones with the stands, you're better off just laying them flat, because you can get winds up to 70 miles an hour out here, and they'll flip your panels and they'll land on these rocks and get broken. I've had a few broken ones. So now I just lay them flat. And actually I did some tests, and you lose about 25-30% of your power when they're horizontal like that, or vertical, versus angle that your latitude. But down here I think it's around 35 degrees would be your perfect angle if you're pointing directly at the sun. Anyway, and that's a fireplace I made. Actually, I made this 2 years ago, and it's still just as good as I made it 2 years ago. I used mud to pack all the stones, and it baked into a cement. And actually, the mud I got from panning, looking for gold out here. And when I'd clean out my tub, I'd have a very fine mud. And I did that 2 years ago, and it's in perfect condition after 2 years out in the desert here. Anyway, let me go into the finer details about these LTVAs. I'll show you a map first. And we're going to be, okay, here's your Colorado River. And, on one side of the Colorado River you have Arizona, and the other side you have California. Okay. The one in Arizona, the LTVA in Quartzsite, it's called Ltva. And it's on both sides of Route 95, and it goes from Quartzsite all the way down, I would say about 4 or 5 miles on both sides. Okay. And that's where I've stayed quite a bit, and they're very easy going. Of all the LTVAs, Ltva has the least amount of restrictions. But you get into California. Now, I have not been to Midland, which is in California, just on the other side of Colorado River, Blythe, California, and I have not been to Mule Mountain yet. Maybe I will this year. And then when you get down towards Yuma, you got Imperial Dam LTVA, and that's in California. It's just on the other side of Colorado River. And that's where I'm going tomorrow. I have never been there, so I'll do an episode when I get down there about Imperial Dam. Now, I have been out to Hot Springs, and that's a really nice place. It's only a few miles outside the town of Holtville, California. And there's actually a hot spring which is outside of the LTVA. It's right across the street, so it's public. But you can literally, if you're camped in the LTVA, you just walk right over and go into it. But they were very strict there. I was there 3 years ago, and you weren't even allowed to have a shower tent up. Somebody called the rangers, when I put up one of those 4-foot square, tiny little shower tents, if they're about 7 or 8 feet high and you can take a shower outside, somebody called the rangers. He came over and said I had to take it down. And so they're real strict, at least there. Tamarisk, don't even bother going there, assuming you could even find it. I went there. There was a huge dip in the road to go back into this place. It's a real dive. It's in the middle of nowhere, and you might not even get off the road down through that gully and back up into the camping area. So don't even bother with that. Pilot Knob, it's right next to Route 8, the highway. I don't know. It didn't really... I've gone in there a couple times. I didn't camp. It just looked kind of drab. So, anyway, okay, the specifics here is, this goes into the 7 different LTVAs, and it'll tell you if there's telephone service, trash, a dump station, water, restrooms, for each of the different LTVAs. Okay, the only 2 that have everything is Ltva and Imperial Dam. Have everything, all those features. Okay, and the other ones have, some of them don't have others. You know, dump stations and water are the 2 biggies, you know. Okay, now the very specific rules, which a lot of people don't talk about, I'm just going to go through real quick. Okay, no firearms, no discharging firearms in an LTVA. If you're going to sell in an LTVA, you're supposed to have a permit. Do not camp within 1 mile of an LTVA. If you're outside of the LTVA on BLM lands and you don't have a permit, you know, you have the 14-day free camping, well, you're not allowed to camp within 1 mile of an established LTVA. So if you're doing the dispersed free camping, just keep that in mind. You'll get kicked out if you get within 1 mile of one of the long-term visitor areas. Okay. Do not camp overnight in desert washes at Imperial Dam or Ltva. Apparently, you know, they can have some pretty bad flash floods, and that's, you know, so you don't wind up drowning, you know, so that's for your benefit. Just don't, you know, pull into any of those kind of places. Now, your length of stay, the season's September 14th to April 16th. After that, it turns into free camping after the permit is up. And that, like I say, the permit's $180 for 7 months, and you can stay in one campsite for that whole 7 months. September 16th, actually, to April 16th. Okay, and in the off season, it turns into just standard BLM, you know, where you can stay up to 14 days per month for free. Okay, and then you have to move specifically 25 miles. I've heard people say 10 miles, this and that. Yeah, all the official BLM rules, they all say 25 miles. You could stay for 2 weeks. You can stay, you know, go camp on another BLM area, but you got to move over 25 miles to camp another 2 weeks for free. That's their free camping. Do not leave your campsite or unit unoccupied for more than 5 days. A lot of people don't know that. You know, you can't just put your stuff somewhere and then come back in 2 weeks. Okay. Okay, if you're with friends, you can't camp within 15 feet of each other. Your units have to be over 15 feet apart. That's more of like a fire hazard. Again, for your protection, if one trailer catches fire, they don't want you so close that your trailer also will catch fire. So that's why they have that. if it's a wheeled vehicle, an RV, whatever, or a car, they don't want you removing your wheels. Apparently some people, I don't know, why they would take their wheels off or whatever, but okay, quiet hours, typical 10 to 6 in the morning. You can't run a generator during that time, and you got to be quiet, and you can't be playing loud music and that kind of stuff. Otherwise, you can run generators before 10 o'clock or after 6 a.m. Let's see, outdoor amplified music is allowed only at Ltva and Imperial Dam. So the other 5 LTVAs don't even allow music, outside music. A lot of people don't know that. Here's the thing about where I got a ranger told me how to take my shower tent down. Structures and landscaping. He said it was a structure, a shower tent. Fixed fences, dog runs, storage units, windbreaks, which is just basically a tarp, or other structures are prohibited. But like I say, they don't enforce it at some of the other LTVAs. Ltva, you'll see everyone with shower tents and windbreaks up and storage units that they tow in. It's very easy going at Ltva. But when I was at Hot Springs, they gave me a hard time just about a tiny little shower tent, and even people like with bug tents and that kind of stuff is considered a structure. Pets, everyone knows about that. Keep them on a leash and pick up after them, their waste. Self-contained vehicles, this is something really important that people haven't gone into a lot of detail. That's typically to be most vans and cars and stuff are not considered self-contained, because to be considered self-contained, you have to have a permanent affixed wastewater holding tank of 10 gallons or larger. Okay, they do not consider a porta potty a contained system, and I'm not sure about composting toilets. They don't say specifically, but I don't think they're actually legal, but because they're not 10 gallons, they have to hold over 10 gallons, and they have to be permanent structures. Okay, so a lot of the LTVAs, and actually, okay, it also tells you where they get really particular about this. Pilot Knob, Midland, Tamarisk, and Hot Springs. You're not going to get into those places. I know for sure Hot Springs is not going to allow a van in there. Tamarisk, Pilot Knob, and way up here, Midland, you will not get in with a van or a car, which is with a tent or whatever. You're not going to get into those places. I know for a fact. They are real strict about that. You can, in Ltva, if you're within 500 feet of a porta-john, 500 feet of a vault toilet, then you're allowed, at least at Ltva, and I think Imperial Dam maybe too. So, okay, in wood collection, the last thing, do not get caught burning mesquite, ironwood, or Palo Verde wood. Those are all Sonoran desert trees, and they're all being protected. So don't, even if you bought any of these woods, you'd be in big trouble if the ranger catches you using them. Okay, I'm almost at the 15 minutes here. So hopefully I added a few more details about camping on LTVAs, long-term visitor areas in Arizona and California. And take care. This is Eagle Eric signing off.